Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? Thank you for coming into another episode of Room Full of Blerds. This evening, I have the absolute privilege of getting to interview a brand new content creator who goes by the name of Hotep. He is actually going to be doing several projects for this one cartoon comic brand. I'm going to actually just bring him up because we need to get this thing started because he has a lot of a lot of content to cover. But without further ado, here is Hotep of Black Lion and Cubs. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing wonderful, Kira. It's an honor and pleasure to be here with you this evening. So thank you for having me. This is my official first interview under the Black Lion and Cubs brand. So this is like a debut and a premiere for me all on a whole nother level. So thank you. I'm very blessed to be here this evening.
I'm absolutely honored that you chose me to be your walk into wow, this new venture. It's quite an undertaking, my dear. I basically we kind of happened upon each other by chance a little bit. I think I through the Instagram. And I'm so glad that the algorithm did not keep us separated for too long.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to kind of dive into it a little bit because you, my dear, are unreal. First of all, everybody, you can find Hotep here with the Black Lion and Cubs brand at Instagram only for right now. He's putting all of his content strictly through there. You guys do not have to hunt and peck for any of the things that you want to know about this particular anime and comic. It is all right there. And Hotep, I do believe that you're very approachable.
I try to be, at least for now. Wait until after the launch. I can't promise that I'll be as available to people, but at least for now.
Get him while you can. If you have any questions at all, he's actually a very good brain to pick. This is going to launch in, oh my gosh, what are we on? We're in June 11th today?
Mm-hmm.
It's a month.
Yeah.
It's literally 4 weeks away. You're going to be launching on July 17th. Are you excited? Or do you think, I know you're ready.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready. I'm actually like, I feel like I should have launched a little earlier, because I'm just sitting here like, man, I just with so much excitement and enthusiasm, ready to share all this with the world right now. As I've been learning about this space, I've been trying to figure out how I can better articulate what this launch is, because I'm seeing that a lot of people in this space, when they launch something, it's typically a Kickstarter launch, and they're attempting to raise funds. And I'm attempting to be clear that that's not what we're doing here. We're not raising funds or we're good. All right. We're actually here to celebrate the launch on a multitude of different platforms and mediums. And so, as I continue to engage in this space and learn more about how people do things in this industry in particular, that's one thing I'm attempting to do. So yeah, it's a celebration strictly, and I'm inviting people like yourself and other movers and shakers to be a part of it. So thank you for being a part of that.
Thank you, man. It's so refreshing to see Black content creators that you're ahead of the game. Like miles and miles ahead of the game right now. I want to talk about Black Lion first, but then I want to get into more of your story too, because I toot no one's horn on this channel in any way, shape, or form, unless they are absolutely deserving of it. You, sir, are an anomaly, to borrow from across the Spider-Verse, but you belong here. You are welcome.
Thank you.
Open arms. Oh boy. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this man is going to be launching all of this. He's got a comic coming. He's got a cartoon, and he's got an album and a video game. I believe it's just the mobile game for right now. Correct?
Actually, it's a PC game, so it's not even available right now on phones. Actually, it's 3 games. I'll have 3 games by the time the 17th comes here. Yeah. So right now, I currently have 2 Black Line video games already created and completed that people have been able to test out, and have a third one in development right now. It should be ready in a couple more days.
Why am I here? I need you to promote me. Whoa. Oh my God. I didn't this okay, so that's what I sincerely thought it was just the mobile games. Baby, yeah, we're gonna get into your background real soon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're doing. You know exactly what you are doing. Can't, my face speechless, and that's not what I'm supposed to be on here. So, all right. Well, what made you think? What made you think about launching all of this at the same time?
Um, I don't know. So although I'm new to the anime space, I'm not new to creation. As an entrepreneur, I started in the music industry. I went from music to filmmaking, and then I went from filmmaking to publishing books. And so, for many years, and I'm talking about my first album dropped in 1996. So that's how far back I go. So I've been creating and learning how to market, produce, mass produce, executive produce, design. I've been doing that since 1996. And so what I'm doing in the anime space is really a culmination of the creation or the creative work that I've been doing for 20 plus years, you see. So for me to launch a comic book, a cartoon, all these different formats is relatively easy for me because I'm experienced in creation and production and design and storytelling. Those things I'm very experienced in, but this side of the industry, if you will, a part of it, I'm new to. So, it actually is relatively easy for me to produce this type of stuff. I have a team of people that help, of course, and I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
It's a trial. It's less of a trial by fire for you, though. I think there are a lot of content creators that are out there, and I'm calling everybody a content creator. That's whether you're an artist, musician, filmmaker. You are making content for people to take in. So please don't think I'm just talking about people that are strictly on TikTok or Instagram only. It's everybody makes content. Doesn't matter what you are, who you are, or what medium you're using. But you've at least gone through a few trials as far as getting how to promote yourself and get yourself out there. So I want to pick your brain some more a little bit later about how you got past all of that, or if you had any hurdles, or how you overcame, or if you have any advice for people out there too. But sure. Black Lion, you have made an entire universe already.
Mm-hmm.
It is incredible.
Thank you.
Absolutely incredible. Pardon me, I do not stream for children. I'm what I like to affectionately call myself a story whore. If it's a good story, you will have me forever. And there are a lot of, I want to say, African themed animes or comics that are out there, but I feel like this has a more familial vibe to it. It's not just solely about the powers of the god. There seems like there's going to be an underlying story about family history, historical information as well. So I'm very interested in reading this comic and watching the anime. But it basically says it's a story of a retired Nubian warrior and his 2 fellow sons, who are going to be following cryptic clues and will battle sinister enemies as they attempt to settle an ongoing battle between pharaohs and rescue a queen who is caught in the middle. And she is lovely, gorgeous. Gorgeous.
I didn't have many female characters in my universe, so for the one that I do currently have, I wanted to make sure that she was, of course, engaging, but also had a a story that could carry its own line, if you will. I didn't want her to be uh, like in some movies, you see characters that they try to have their own little one-off story, and no one cares about it because they're not an interesting enough and engaging enough character on their own. I wanted my female character to be someone that could stand on her own, and so I have a
Thank you.
very deep. You're welcome. You're welcome. So I have a lot of twists and turns behind all of this. There's definitely a familial um, undertone to all this, and also educational. Because that's part of my background. So that's the reason why I made my anime brand a family friendly brand. I wanted it to be something that little children could watch just as much as adults and appreciate. In fact, that little children and their parents can watch together without anyone feeling nervous or like, oh, we shouldn't be
Mm.
watching that or that's inappropriate. I
Yeah.
know a lot of anime has blood and guts, and some of it's almost nearly pornographic I've seen. So I wanted to stay away from all of that and keep to something that is appropriate, particularly for my own children to watch, something that I want them to see, and something that's going to be empowering to them, and then also, of course, to anyone outside that's a fan. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that is kind of missing. I said this I said this, I might have said this on the channel at some point. I feel like anime, I haven't. I feel like anime does miss that particular group. The ones that are a little bit more PG rated don't get as much push, obviously. But I think that's a real shame because anime is a great gateway um, form of entertainment for kids because it does talk to them on an adult level. It's not, but it doesn't necessarily have to be blood, guts, and gore and sex all the time, or at least alluding to it, to things that kids don't necessarily need to fully know about or be immersed in. You can kind of, what? You can kind of lead to it, like show that it's okay to love one another and care, but the romantic side of it, if you're like 8 years old, like relax.
Yeah, see, and my
Relax.
children are younger than that. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. So, I'm at a point now where as I create, I'm conscious about what they're absorbing and seeing and listening to, and even the level of violence, is minimized in this. Like you won't in my series, you don't see any face to head, face to hand punching or kicking to that extent because I don't want my children kicking each other, and I knew when I came up, as soon as you see people fighting, kicking, that's what we did. We emulate everything you see and enjoy. So I didn't want that. So the type of violence, if you want to call it that, in my series is more just a display of power, if you will, than it is actually people harming each other. I don't want people necessarily harming or that level of violence
One
to
another.
occur. Especially again, just because of my own children. If my children are going to be competitive with each other, I'd rather them just do these hand movements and say and pretend that they're that type of thing. That's the kind of energy and excitement and action that you see in the Black Lion and Cub series, not the swinging and punching and kicking, that type of contact, if you will.
Gotcha. It's a little bit of a blend between. I don't want to compare it, but I do.
No, you can
I'm so sorry.
please do because
I
I
do
don't.
I do love me some Dragon Ball Z. I will say that I love the hell out of some Dragon Ball Z. So when they're doing those energy bumps, there is not a grown man or woman that has not watched Dragon Ball Z and has not done the Kamehameha symbol with their hands. You can't tell me. It's fun, especially you're yelling for no reason in the middle of wherever you are, whether you're on the playground or you're at your friend's house just messing around because you had too much to drink. It's not a true story, but it's my story. Um, yeah, it's. I can tell you a few times where me and my friends would act out scenes from like shows like Xena the Warrior Princess. Yeah, we like hand to hand, not like really slapping each other, but absolutely a few bruises because we got too into it. So it is. I know of what you speak.
Good, good. Thank you, thank you. And I appreciate it because When people compare, what I've created to others, it helps me know more about the anime space. I'm old school, and I'm anime before people even knew anime was a thing. I grew up in the '80s, so my real frame of reference for cartoons was Transformers, Voltron, and Thundercats. Okay, and the anime style, and I'm talking about the original ones. Not, I don't know what else has come since the 1980s, but even in the design of my animations, in the way I had it animated was more like Voltron more than anything else. The way I had my animators create the frames, if you will, and the different
Mm.
scenes. Dragon Ball Z, though, I learned about after the fact, and that is something that I did like, the all that power and energy and the glows and all of that. So you will definitely
Hmm.
see that in Black Lion and Cubs, definitely.
I'm telling y'all,
Yeah,
it's gonna be. I'm excited, very excited to see this. Speaking of
thank you.
seeing some of this, I have a small sneak preview of the cartoon, the anime that you're actually going to be producing at the same time.
Yes. So this is a screenshot from the. So I currently have three different cartoon series in development. All right. This is the first cartoon series. Each series has 3 episodes. So the first series is called Valley of the Kings. And Valley of the King, each of my series is animated by a different artist. So this series is animated by one artist or artistic team. It's called Valley of the Kings, and this is a sneak peek from episode 1, if you will. But if you went to, I don't even know if I shared with you a screenshot from the second series. The second,
I'm I'm I'm
yeah,
going through. I got you.
no, that's still
Oh,
Valley of the Kings.
wait a minute. Okay, so
Yes,
see, you know what? I
yeah.
don't think he did. I think he only
No,
gave me the just from this one.
you
Oh,
know,
I'm
I gotta keep
cheated.
something. I gotta keep some things under wraps, for the launch. But
Oh, you got me.
yeah, yeah, that's okay. So yeah, this here is the comic version, the what they call manga version of Valley of the Kings. And so just like the cartoon series, there's 3 episodes. I kept the manga in black and white. I like black and white, and since I already have color for the cartoon, I decided that for the manga and the comic series that it would be black and white. Some artists are extremely creative with the way they shade things. And
Mm.
so, and I wanted to differentiate what I create from what other people create. Color is the standard now. Everyone's used to color. In fact, when you see color, you don't think nothing of it because it's everybody does the same thing. So now, I'm very talented. My talent in marketing is really uh, based off of a simple premise. In every industry, everybody does things the industry way, you see, and so they follow a certain format. It's like most artists, they do the standard, they do the Kickstarter, then they launch it, and they include people, and that's what I'm learning about your industry, right? And so uh, what happens is when people do continue to do things the industry way, they become dime a dozen. Everybody does it that way, so they're not special. I believe
Yeah.
in positioning myself as the diamond in the rough, right? So the
Mhm.
diamond in the rough allows me to do things differently. And in some cases, when you go throwback or retro in certain industries, people appreciate that because it reminds them of things that they used to grow up on or the things that they used to see when they were young people. And so, like I said, I grew up in the '80s. My frame of reference is Voltron. So while a lot of people's frame of reference in anime might be, Dragon Ball Z or Naruto or whatever is
Naruto.
popular nowadays,
Mhm.
my frame of reference is Voltron. So that allows me to do things differently and in some ways, retro style, which some people will say, "Hey, I remember that. I like that." Retro. Oftentimes, retro has a space in every industry because people like what it used to be. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's why my comic series is black and white instead of color.
I believe mangas are still. I think there are a few mangas that still do black and white, but they're fairly. You know what? Let me not talk out of turn. I want to say they're fairly rare, but I could be wrong. Um, but no, I liked the simplicity behind a black and white comic. Plus, when you do that, you kind of you might start to instill somebody. You might still inspire someone to do that particular thing differently. Still, they might find an upgrade while doing a comic in black and white. You might be able to say, okay, I can if I do this particular shading. How do I change a grayscale, or maybe I don't do just gray, or maybe I don't do just color. Maybe I do a combination of both. You can still inspire yourself to think on a different path, even when you step back.
I'm glad
And
you said that.
yeah.
That's where innovation can occur. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because so this artist here and this the Valley of the Kings comic was drawn by one particular artist. This is his style of shading with it. But I have other artists for example, the Sands of Time, which is my second series. Man, you should see the way his shading is incredible. His shading is better than most people's color. Wait till you see I'm serious. When you see the shading of the Sands of Times comic, it's going to blow your mind how incredible. And so my point is, you're taking um, strategies of the old, right, but combining it with the technology of the new.
Mhm.
And like you said, that's where innovation can occur, because now you're creating a brand new style, combining the retro of the old, the technology of the new, putting that together. And I think that's what at least one of my artists is doing. And I'm excited to share that with you guys, because the comic series, just so you guys know, the comic, although I have, the art for the pages, will only be premiered as a animated comic strip or a video comic. So it's not even, you won't find this in paperback format yet. It will be premiered in this format. So you have to watch it and listen to it. And so, yeah, so what you're seeing here, the Kingdom of Ra is inside you, for example, is an example of some of the educational component of my brand, right? In every episode, the children, or the two cubs, you know, are taught a lesson that helps them build their powers and develop self-esteem and confidence and things of that nature. So in this episode, for example, episode 2, the message that their father gave them, Black Lion gave them, is the kingdom of Ra is inside you. Now, people that Christians will read that as the kingdom of God is inside
Mhm.
you, right? So the whole point is remembering our true divine nature and applying that in everything that you do. And in this case, because of African culture and Egyptian mythology in particular, Ra was the chief God, the God of the sun. And so this is how I'm combining a variety of different sensibilities together within this comic strip.
It's I love smart people. I love smart people. Y'all get the best things in the world going. Okay. All right. I'm trying to stay on a tangent because I'm trying to not pick your brain. I'm trying to hold that back a little bit. I want to talk about this this you know this video game.
Yes. So that's the second video game. The second video game is called Contest of Champions. And as you see here, I went with the retro style design of my characters. These characters, you would find this. So retro being 8-bit. 8-bit is the style. Pixel, but they call it pixel art. And so for these characters, I had them drawn in this way as opposed to the more high def version, because it reminds me of, the old school Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I grew up in the 80s. So I remember Mega Man, the Mario Brothers, Castlevania stuff. So when I think of video games, or when I reflect on video games that I loved, that's what they look like. It don't look like, God of War or all this other stuff that they're playing nowadays. And so in this Contest of Champions, each of the 3 main characters in my universe are a champion, and the player can select any of these 3 and then utilize them as they navigate through the game.
Okay. And what it so all right. So since this is the second video game, do they all have the same end goal?
No, every game is different. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I want to ask you what the end goal is for this one or what the purpose is of this one, but I don't know if you'll tell anybody yet. I will wait.
No, I'm gonna
Yeah,
hold on.
see.
Yeah, you already know. Yeah, I'm gonna
I
hold
already
that.
knew.
Mhm.
I'm trying. All
But
right, so
but in short, it's just it's a skills test. This one is a skills test. So that much I'll say.
okay, okay, all right. I'll let you. I'm gonna let you live. But
Thank you. Thank you.
all right, for this next one is super clean. This
Yes.
this
So
is super clean.
you like
It's a side
yeah.
scroller.
Yes, that's a side scroller. For those that are not familiar, like the Mario, like Super Mario Brothers, you just go from left to right. But this is the Valley of the Kings um, video game. So for Valley of the Kings and Sands of Time, I have a multitude of different mediums with the same title because they're following the same basic story. So for Valley of the Kings, I have the comic book. There's a Valley of the Kings comic. There's a Valley of the Kings cartoon series, and here you see the Valley of the Kings video game. And each of those is basically another reformatting or retelling of the same story of Valley of the Kings. Um, and so that they all have the same purpose, if you will. If it says Valley of the Kings, it's about the character, the heroes attempting to save the queen from the evil pharaoh, if you want to call it the evil, the bad pharaoh, King Khufu. So that's the purpose of this game here.
Is it okay? All right, let's get into it a little bit. So I need you to teach me something.
Sure.
I'm, I'm not gonna front like I know all of my Egyptian gods or references or historical points in any way, shape, or form. So for I guess educational purposes, are any of these characters based on actual historical figures?
Yes. So um, when I decided when I decided that I was going to make all of this centered in African culture, particularly Nubian and Egyptian culture, the first question I had to ask myself was whether or not I was going to stick to the facts, you know what I'm saying, or as much of the facts as we know. And I decided not to. So you will hear you will hear names that are true names in Egyptian lore and Egyptian mythology and ancient Egyptian pharaohs. I've used many of the correct names and spelling. Hopefully, the pronunciation is right in some cases, in all the cases. But as far as what roles they played, those were different. So obviously, King Khufu is a pharaoh, and from ancient Egyptian times, he wasn't a bad person. Although in my story, he's positioned as the antagonist, if you will. So, and the reason why I did that is one, uh, at the end of the day, I wanted people to be aware of and interested in African culture and do their own research. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, if you're interested in King Khufu, go look up Khufu, do a search and find out about him. And so, for me, when it comes to the kids in particular and the families that'll be watching this, it's for them, people that know the stories, they'll say, well, that's not actually historically true, and they'll teach their children the truth. Okay. Or other people like yourself that aren't truly really familiar, they say, I wonder what that is, and they'll look it
Mm-hmm.
up. So the whole point is either way, you're exposing people to the culture. You're getting people to do some, answer questions, do some research, find out about things they may not have normally known. And personally, I know the value of that because that's why my name is Hotep, right? I'm named after Imhotep, the builder of the first pyramids, right? So people that don't know, they see Hotep, they think, they don't know what to think. They think I changed my name or, I made this stuff up. My parents were very African centered, and they knew the power of connecting their children and any human being with their roots and their culture and historical perspective and an empowered historical perspective. So they named me Imhotep. Imhotep is the builder of the first pyramids. If you translate Imhotep, it means he who walks in peace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for those that aren't familiar, the only time they heard Imhotep was when they saw the movie The Mummy. And as you see, Hollywood is notorious for taking our history and all kind of things with it. But Imhotep is not the mummy. He's not an evil person. Imhotep historically is the first multi-genius. He's the first documented scientist, mathematician, astrologer, and also the builder of the first pyramid. As I said, Imhotep means he who walks in peace. Hotep itself simply means peace. So over the years, and back in the early '90s, people used the term Hotep as a greeting. They would say peace. They say Hotep, and so that kind of just stuck the fact that people were using it as a greeting, and that was actually my name. So that kind of stuck with me. And nowadays, they use Hotep in a whole nother perspective that I don't find too flattering. But
no, I'm a tell on myself. I had a whole conversation. I'm like, listen, my guy, I don't want you to be offended, but I need to know. And he is not that. The Hotep that y'all are familiar with more recently in public spaces or pop culture, media, whatever you want to call it, not that. This is what it's supposed to be over here. Chill, open-minded, listen to other people's points of view, non-judgmental, or even if he doesn't like what you have to offer, he ain't gonna knock you in the head about it quite so much.
It's a shame.
That's his namesake.
Thank you. But I do find it a shame that something that is so a person's name who's so significant in our history, his name is now being utilized in such a negative manner, and I find that unfortunate. In fact, when someone first told me that Hotep was being used in such a derogatory way, they asked me if I was going to change my name or use Imhotep instead of just Hotep. I said nah, because I don't fall by the wayside based off of trends and things that are here today, gone tomorrow, and at the end of the day, people that know me know that I'll ride that trend till it falls off. You know what I'm saying? Or I will compete against the trend to such an extent that I'll change and rebrand Hotep back to where it was supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? So that's where I'm intent. And so that's that's about to happen with Black Lion and Cubs as people begin to know my name. So I'm grateful for the opportunity as well.
Good. I'm happy to provide it. That is what this space is about. It's about changing minds. It's about promoting positivity. It's about getting us and our cousins, even the ones that we have to drag kicking and screaming into the light, to come up with us and realize we are not the things that the media necessarily portrays. We are better than the things that people want, the bad things that people want to believe about us.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm gonna go off on some of these comments because the people is commenting. So I've got Safari TV. This is a running gag between me and Safari. He says that he wants to know if you've ever heard of this anime called One Piece. I know you. I hope you have. Good. Keep it that way. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It is not, in my opinion, one of the better animes, even though it is extremely popular. Good God. It is.
I'll look into it. I like to know. So for everybody listening, the reason why me and Kira, how me and Kira met is because anytime I enter a new industry, I do so with respect and deference. You see, although I'm an OG, actually triple OG when it comes to production, I don't even consider myself a content creator because I don't like the fact that when I say content creator, any person with a phone, that shoots a 2-second video can be in the same conversation with me. Nah. See, I'm a producer, executive producer on some other level. You see, let's be clear. So, but I say that to say that I am an OG when it comes to creating and producing in a variety of creative media forms. But anime, I'm new to. And out of respect, because I knew I was entering this space, I decided that I was going to reach out to people that were doing things in this space, let them, introduce myself, knock on their door. If they would let me in, I'm gonna, take my shoes off and walk in politely and such. So as people continue to receive what we're doing with Black Lion and Cubs, and introduce me to new things. I do want to study. I'm a student of the game. The more I learn, the more I earn. So if even if One Piece isn't that good, I want to know what it is. I want to know why it's not good. You see what I'm saying? Because if it's not good, I want to know why it's not good, so I don't make Black Lion and Cubs like it. You see what I'm saying? So, but you said it's popular. So this is the thing. You said it's popular. So for me,
extremely popular.
now people know me. I'm a bona fide hustler. I don't, I make things happen because I'm about making power moves. So even if you say, for example, if anyone says One Piece isn't that good, but it's popular, I'm gonna look at it because it is popular, and I want Black Lion and Cubs to be popular. I want it to be more popular. So whatever it is, the fact that someone brought it up, I want to look into it. I'm gonna investigate. I want to find out why it's popular. I want to take the best of what it is and implement it, into what I'm doing with Black Lion and Cubs. I could always learn. You know what I'm saying? A true a person that's really on the path can learn from a fool, but a fool can't learn from no one. You see?
I 100% agree. I do not in any way think that me saying that something is good or bad is an endorsement of that particular endorsement or what's the word, detraction or something like that of a particular thing. I do not care. It's my opinion. Everybody's got one like that part of your physical
Got you.
So, everybody else likes it. It ain't for me. A lot of people. I love Dragon Ball Z. There are people that are like, it's trash, and I don't understand why y'all ride so hard for it. And that's fine. That means that there's variety out there. There's other things for people to see. By all means, please go explore, learn something. And it sounds like you might have struck a chord with somebody in the audience with your brand already, sir. I like it. I love it. I'm very much here for it. And that was from Hi Will. Thank you for joining the stream.
Can I respond? Because I like to respond to people.
Go.
First of all, to anyone, let me just say this to anyone that's watching. Let me first just ask you humbly to please make sure that you go to Black Lion and Cubs IG page and RSVP for our launch party. I want to bring all you guys together. We have an incredible cast of people that are going to be a part of this conversation. I'm doing some phenomenal, humbly saying I'm doing some phenomenal things in this space that a lot of people may not have even thought of because I come from as an outsider. I'm not a blerd. I'm not an otaku. I'm not even consider myself to be a fan. I'm a father and I'm a Black man. That's what I am. I'm a father, I'm a Black man, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a visionary. Those are the titles that I attribute to myself. So whatever I get into, I'm going to do so with those sensibilities. I say all that to say that I want to make sure I invite all of you to be a part of this. You're going to see and hear some things that are going to blow your mind. And the fact that I was able to create all of this in 5 months, not 5 years. I had 3 video games, 3 comic series, cartoons being completed, some in still development. I have 2 albums. Like all this is coming out has been completed in 5 months. Right? I know people that are lifetimers in anime that are still trying to figure out what they're going to do with their writing or their ideas. You see what I'm saying? So I want to help inspire and motivate people and show people how things can be done differently. And I do so as an outsider. Like I said, I come from the music industry. I come from the film industry. I come from the author or the writing industry, publishing books. I come from the educational industry because I'm a former teacher. So all those and on top of that, I come from the entrepreneur. My brother, don't just follow RSVP. All right, hold on. RSVP. Don't just follow. Okay, please.
I got you.
Yeah. But I say all that to say that thank you for your comment. Whoever that person is, that Mayhem comment.
That is Mayhem Media. That is Will. That is one of my cohorts in the Blerds space.
Well, he understands what I'm saying because it sounded like he said something about it sound like it's for his children, right?
Yes.
And I want him and everybody else to know that that's what Black Lion and Cubs, where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? Black Lion and Cubs is led by, motivated, and inspired by my two children, my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old. So I do all of this, and I do it with a fervor and a passion and a silverback gorilla hustle for my two sons. You understand? I do it for them first. Now, anybody that's a parent, right? And 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 really enjoys being a parent and is very conscious about what their children are being exposed to, they're gonna feel me. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna feel what I'm doing. They're gonna feel the struggle. They're gonna, they're gonna relate to it, and the fact that not only is it created with that parent space, but now it's going to be distributed by Black Education Station, which is a whole network dedicated to providing content for children and for parents and whole families. So I wanted to say thank you for to him, Will, for giving me the opportunity to say that, my brother. Yes, it is for your children because it's for my children. You see what I'm saying? It's for your children too. And any parent that's concerned about the type of stuff that they see on Disney, these new movies that are coming out, you're like, yo, hold on, is that appropriate? Things that you used to watch as a child yourself, and you're looking at it now as a parent, you're like, hold on, we used to watch that? I don't want my child watching that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel nowadays. I'm like, I can't even watch. I was watching, check this out. I was watching Finding Nemo. Okay, I love Finding Nemo, and you're looking at me like, yo, what can you find wrong with Finding Nemo, right? I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm watching Finding Nemo with my 4-year-old, and Nemo turns to his father. His father's being overprotective, and Nemo turns to him and says, "I hate you." I was like, "Oh shoot!" I said, "Hold on, no." I said, "Hold on." I had to stop it. I had to stop it. You know what? Because I don't want seeing, and I'm mad with myself because I just planted a seed of that kind of language coming out of my own child's mouth by watching something that, in other people's opinion, is G-rated and child appropriate. That's not appropriate language in my household. Now I got to explain to my child, no, you don't say things like that.
Talk like that here. Yeah.
Huh? That's not cool. You know what I'm saying? And then we wonder why children say the things that they say or do the things that they do. I'm gonna tell you right now, they get half of it, if not a large part of it, from content that's created supposedly for children, like Finding Nemo, like a lot of that Pixar stuff. And I hate to say it because, let's be clear, I'm a fan of Pixar. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what they're doing with all that stuff. The Toy Story stuff. But I ain't watching that with my child yet. Not yet. Because I have to explain a lot of the stuff that's happening there. That stuff actually is more adult centered, than child centered. So anyway, I'm just saying, you guys got me talking. I see you, my brother. Salute.
There you go.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say, you guys got me talking. You got me talking, Kira. I'm trying to say that.
I told you. What did I tell you when we met?
Yeah,
that's my gift. I sit here and I absorb.
Yeah. So like I said,
if I think it's going in a certain way, I will be like, hold on, wait a minute, 2 seconds, bring it back. But no, you're good. Like, no, I totally get that. I pride myself on this. I don't have any kids, so for me, watching Finding Nemo, right over my head. Wouldn't even think about it. But in context of somebody that is just learning how to speak, to communicate, you are just beginning to form like cohesive sentences with somebody. How do you explain what the word hate means? Because all the kid is going to do is just repeat that word. They just know that the person was emoting in a particular way. They don't necessarily feel that exact way that character is trying to portray. But because you're the adult, it's going to hit you a little bit harder. And now you've got to explain to this kid the concept of a word that has so much energy behind it. Because all your kids should know in this world is love. So for them for you to now have to explain that there's an opposite to that, 'tis a lot. That is a lot to have to talk to a 4-year-old about.
Absolutely. And again, I don't, because I'm an educator, I'm very sensitive about this because, I used to teach kindergarten. You understand? I taught kindergarten for 5 years. I know how much children are sponges. You understand? Like children are literal sponges. They will absorb whatever you put in front of them, for better or for worse. You
Mhm.
understand?
Mhm. Mhm. Ooh, ooh, I got in trouble.
Now, I have the luxury
Ooh, I
of
got in
being
trouble.
not only an educator, but also being educated. You understand? So,
Mhm.
it's my perspective is different from many parents who may not have been orientated in a way that I have. So, part of what I'm attempting to do, and why I support Black Education Station, is that they are aware of this as well, and all of the content on their network is like mine. It's truly family friendly, kid friendly, educational, and they do not deal with particular types of topics that they believe parents should be in control of. Like, see, as much as I'm a fan of Pixar and the work that they do, they took the control out of my hands when they said, I hate you. That when that came up, I'm like, dang, now I gotta explain to my child, I'm not ready for that. He wasn't ready for that. That's a more mature conversation we have to have. Or even in the beginning of Finding Nemo, when his mother died and all his brothers and sisters died. That now I gotta talk about death. He gotta ask me, what happened? Oh, they're dead. What does that mean? Like, like only a parent knows. You know what I'm saying? Only a parent knows that first conversation. You got to talk about death and people not like, hold on, let me allow parents. What I believe when it comes to media is there's certain topics that, parents should be in control of the timing of and the way it's being framed to their children. And all too often, we as parents lose that control. We let it go because we're watching YouTube and all kind of stuff. We put our kids in front of stuff that it's just not really. It says this is a sad truth is they say it's for kids, but it's really
Mhm.
not. It's really a lot of it is inappropriate, and I stand by that. So anyway, pardon me on my angle here, but you got
No,
me
not
talking.
at
We
all.
talking about Black Line and Cuz, man. I'm gonna stay.
No, it's not just Black Lion Cubs. It's you, the person that made the whole thing. You are the root to this whole thing, baby. So if people can see how you are and what your purpose is or what your foundation behind all of this is, that just goes, in my opinion. You tell me if I'm off.
No, we
It
good.
it it goes to what Black Lion is going to be and what it is currently.
Thank you.
Yep, you haven't lost nobody. You haven't lost not nobody yet. I promise you. You on time, my guy.
Thank you. Thank you.
um.
Thank you to all those people that are commenting. It means a lot to me. I want to say this. It means a lot to me how people respond. Not that it's really gonna change anything, because like I said, I do this for my kids. You see, I do it for them first. But to know that other people are feeling the spirit of not only why it's been created, but then also that I can create something that people say, yo, that looks good. The story, is professional.
Mhm.
Because that's the only way I'm gonna go about things. It means a lot to me because it's a new space. You know what I'm saying? I'm a stranger to it. I'm a newcomer. So it always feels better, when you walk into a new situation, that people welcome you and receive you well, as opposed to you having to fight everybody along the way. You
Yeah.
understand? So I'm
Or
grateful.
or steer you in the wrong direction
Right,
entirely.
right. Yeah.
Mhm. I just want to go over this list of people that are going to be hosting at your launch party
Yeah.
in a month. So we have the illustrious, my captain, Chris Fury is going to be. I'm going to call it a panel. Yeah, it's a panel, right?
Yes.
Um, along with yourself, obviously.
Right.
Um, Harrison Kerr, who is of Famicom fame. That boy's got more Instagram channels than I have followers at this point. I'm not. Oh, Nancy Gilliam. Is she the main point person for Black Education Station?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Between her and another young lady named Candace. Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Dr. Chester, Black Educators Rock. I've heard of Black Educators Rock.
Mhm. Yeah, Dr.
Why do I
Chester,
know that name?
she has this whole organization. It's a group of educators. They're all Black. She does a conference every year. I'll be speaking at that conference later. It's actually right before the launch. I'll be speaking at her conference in Tampa, Florida. And because, like I said, I'm a former educator, and my current business is working in schools. Pardon me. So that angle and that perspective is something that I'm bringing to anime. Is again that perspective is something that I'm proud of being able to introduce to a lot of people that are in this space that would like to be more affiliated with schools and do something more educational or have that audience.
Look, dude, I'm here for it. I love. Uh, Actually, I want to go back to something that you said earlier. You said that you don't call yourself a blerd, sir. Just blerd does not necessarily mean that you have to be a person, a black person, that is a nerd or somebody that watches anime or like Star Wars or pick a thing. For me, the term blerd can be applied to anything. You
Mm,
can be a blerd about fashion. You can be a blerd about being an entrepreneur. You can be a blerd about drawing. You nerd black nerd out on this one particular thing. If people get this glazed over look in their eye when you start talking about something that you have a particular passion about,
mm,
that is your blerd. So
got
to
you.
me, you are a blerd, sir.
Hey,
Don't
well,
don't.
let me tell you something. Well, first of all, thank you for that, and thank you for that explanation. I definitely understand that and can appreciate it. The reason why I say that is because I don't want the same way with what people call one of them Hotep people, right? I don't like
Mhm.
people when you attach yourself to a certain title, not title, but group, if you will. You kind of get grouped in with the rest of them or whatever
Yeah.
people perceive them to be. And I'm very careful as to how I associate myself. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the reason why, if I'm gonna associate myself with any group of people, it's fathers, right? It's black men, it's visionaries, and bona fide hustlers, entrepreneurs. Those are groups that, yes, if you want to group me in any of them groups, I'm good with that. Anything outside of that, I can't speak on right now. But that's what you can call. And yeah, so yeah,
So you have learned about hustling, being an educator. You still a
yeah.
blerd.
Hey, look, and don't get it twisted now. I goes deep in these movies and the Marvel universe, but again, my orientation is the 80s and early 90s. If it happened after 1991, forget about it for me. Because
We
1991,
gotta.
I went to college. So for me, I left all of that when I went to college. All that for me is associated with my middle and high school life. You know what I'm saying? Like if you caught me then, every day after school, it was Mega Man, Rygar, okay, Mega Man, Rygar, Castlevania, all the Mario series. I'm saying things people don't even remember, or they're up to like number 10, 12 of these things right now. It was Transformers every afternoon. It was Voltron, Thundercats, Beetlejuice. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying things like if you came up in my era, you know these things. But again, and for comic books, it was Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane, as far as artists, right? So
They're
that's
still up there.
yeah,
They're still up there, dude.
I told you I'm OG when it comes to this. But again, in '91, I went to college and I left all of that alone because I got into business, I got into the ladies, I got into other things. You know what I'm saying? And I got into production of these things. I started moving from a customer to a hustler. You understand what I'm
Mm.
saying? And that's one of the things that I really want to help inspire for a lot of people in this space is, when as I watch, if I have to tell you my perception of the anime space, I see a lot of customers. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people, a lot of fans, and a lot of people that admire Japanese culture and all that. Great, I admire it too. But I love Black
Mhm.
culture too. I love
Mhm.
African culture too. And like I said, I'm not a customer. I'm not a consumer. I'm a producer. I'm a hustler. So as much as I watch it and enjoy it, I'm gonna say, yo, hold on. How can I take that, create something that I own? Because people will never forget this statement that I'm going to introduce to the anime world. It's either ownership or it's slaveship. And I'll say
Mm.
that again. In
Mm.
this world, in this space, in any aspect, in this world, it's either ownership or it's slaveship. And I consider myself to be Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman and moving in that space. So that's why entrepreneurship is so important because that's the key to freedom, right? That's how you transition from the slave ship into the ownership space. So this is no disrespect to anyone that's a fan and a consumer of anything in this, manga, anime, comic, all that's great. Cosplay.
We're
Hey,
we're all consumers in some way, shape, or form on some with something.
absolutely. I consume stuff too, but I like to try and balance my scales as the Libra I am. So as much as I consume, I'm also going to produce.
Oh,
Uh,
Lord, it all makes sense now. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
It all makes
Now
sense.
you
No,
understand. Okay.
I told you I dated a Libra. It's fine. Y'all all right. Y'all all right.
All right. Thank you.
Um.
Thank you.
Two more people left off the list. Caprice. You eat
Caprice.
for life.
Yes, Yui. Urban. I think if it's not Urban Entertainment, man, I'm sorry, Caprice. If you on this thing, Yui for life, man. Hey, me, that brother right there. Talk about someone that's really on some ownership, power moves. You know what I'm saying? Besides, both. Everybody here is actually. That's the reason why. Let me just say this: everybody on this list. The reason why they're here is because, or a part of this conversation is because they understand that statement that I said, ownership or slave ship. And so, as much as they may be Blerds or Hotep, whatever associations people want to call themselves, whatever you want to call themselves, in that space, these people think and operate on some boss levels, just like yourself. They operate on a boss level maneuver. And so, the same thing with Josh. Josh Brown of General Joshua Comics. Not only he has beautiful artwork and his comics are dope, but again, he thinks like a boss. I see you, Calvin. Okay, all right. So I gotta shout out my man Calvin because hey, listen, any of that when you watch the cartoon for Black Lion and Cubs, if you're watching Black Lion and Cubs, you're hearing the music produced by Calvin or Genius Art, right? He is my exclusive producer for the cartoon series. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? Yes, yes.
Uh,
Salute to you.
uh,
Hey, listen, hey, see, and that's the other thing. Like I'm always going to highlight and show love to anyone that's been a part of my journey and the stuff that I created. And part of what I'm attempting to do is my plan and vision for Black Lion and Cubs is Dragon Ball Z. I want it to be just as big as what is that One Piece and all these other things that I want it just as big. But
mhm.
if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together, right? So I
Mhm.
want to go far, and I'm going to go far as fast as I can. So that's the reason why I'm pulling together and assembling such a cast like the Wu-Tang Clan of boss thinking people. No, let's not use Wu-Tang. Let me use the Avengers since we in the comic space. All these people got crazy. I got the Hulk right here. We got Black Widow. You know what I'm saying? We got Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, Thor.
There we go. We got them all here. And so, but my point is, I plan. I will take the lead. Call me Nick Fury in this situation, right? I'm gonna play. I'm gonna run the point, and I'm gonna assemble the cast of people, whether it's my artists and other producers and all that, and then bring everybody with me so we can defeat all the ills of ills of the universe. You know what I'm saying?
There you
And
go.
so, and some of those ills are centered on, as you see down here, some of those ills are centered around the issues that we face as Black creative people in the space of anime. So that's the monster that we're attempting. That's Thanos right there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So now you're hearing my blurred come out right now. I've got anybody that knows, you can only, I know a little something because I can reference these terms. But yeah, that's the antagonist in this situation is we're gonna tackle the issues that we face as Black, not people of color. I'm talking specifically to Black people right now because what I'm seeing right now in America, we use a phrase and we say, Black people treat the white man's ice like it's colder, right? Like we treat what white people create as superior to what we create. Well, in the anime space, it's the Japanese ice that we create. We treat as colder, right? And
Yeah.
so that's not cool with me. And so again, I'm here to motivate and inspire people to think bigger, operate on another level, to as much as they consume to also produce, and then also support each other in this endeavor. And you ain't got to wait for Stan Lee to come around and tell you about a beautiful nation in Africa that's advanced and such. when we've been telling that story and created that story in the first place. So why you got to wait for Stan Lee to tell you in honor? As much as I love Black Panther, yeah, you know that don't come from us. You know what I'm saying? Directed
Yeah.
we directed the movie, right? One of us directed the
Yeah.
movie, and we got a lot of people a part of it, but that came from that's the intellectual property of a white man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Is
Yeah.
that a bad thing? No, I'm thankful to Stan.
No.
I'm a fan. Let me tell you, I'm a fan of Stan Lee. I salute him. I hope to one day be on some Stan Lee levels, right? But again, it pains me that we got to wait for someone else to do it for us and not
Yeah.
honor those of us within our own community that do these things. Now I sound like one of them Hotep dudes now, huh?
I do, but no, but I listen. Look, I get it. I get it. It does it. It absolutely stings a little bit, but it's due to the circumstances that we are in this setting that is this country. It has taken, and we still don't really have carte blanche when it comes to telling our own stories, or the ones that get pushed to the front of the pack. Like we're still out here on our grind, on our hustle, trying to push our own stories because A, we know them, and B, we can tell them better. We don't have to. I'm tired of seeing stories where we have to water things down in order to make it more palatable across nations. No, this is our story. This is the truth to it, or this is the interpretation based on the way that we have experienced these things. If you wanted to know more about us, that's a different conversation. Then you should be able to absorb that. I I love Stanley. I'm a Marvel girl, ride or die for life. If I could get a tattoo, I would, but I won't. It's just I want us to be in charge of our stories, and
That's it.
that is why you're here. That is why I'm so excited to see what you are putting out, to see that nobody has corrupted the vision that you wanted to put out, that you are in charge of your own destiny with this whole thing. You can pick and choose who you want to have involved in this project without having to get the approval from somebody else that has no heart in the project.
Kira, you
Um,
said it. Let's hold on. I can't. Can I interrupt real quick because I got to
by
speak on.
all means.
You know, that's what I want to see for other people in this space.
Mhm.
You got in every industry, you got two groups. Now you gotta be. No, I can't talk too much about this. All right, so hold on. This is all I want to say. You're right. You know that one of the things that I want to lead by example with is being in control, like being in
Mhm.
true control, right? I don't have to do no Kickstarter and wait for someone to raise money. No, I don't have. I got money. I get money so I can do what I want to do, right? And it doesn't matter. And because I have because my creativity, my creative visions isn't dependent on anyone's financial dollar. It doesn't matter how many people watch or enjoy, subscribe or whatever to it. I'm going to create for the sheer joy of creation. You know, listen, I said this earlier. I create for my two sons, and if they like Black Lion and Cubs, that's all that matters to me. And I'm in a
Mhm.
position where I can create at will, right, for the sheer joy of creation. Now that is, and then someone challenged me if I'm wrong. That's the highest level of creativity and artistry when you can do it for the sheer love and enjoyment of it. You don't have to sell tickets or sell T-shirts or sell anything. You don't have to fundraise or ask for someone to give you money or permission to get. No, I don't have to do none of that. So my point is, where some people feel like they're purists, in their art form. If you are dependent on your art form for your dollar, then chances are
Mhm.
you're not as pure as you think you are, because
Mhm.
you gotta shuck and jive for that dollar.
Yeah.
You gotta compromise your art. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, because in hopes that someone else will purchase it. But when you're able to establish yourself financially in another way, then you're free to create at will. And if nobody likes it, it doesn't even matter. You can keep
Doesn't
doing it.
matter.
You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And
Yeah.
again, I want that particularly for more Black people in this space, because
Mhm.
listen, I'll tell you one thing I've seen, Kira, as you know, we have some beautiful artists, man. I mean, I've seen some of the most amazing art. I've heard some of the most
Yeah.
incredible stories. We have like true genius in our community, and the sad part is you will never know about the genius that we have because we don't have the money to back it. We don't have the power to distribute it. You understand? And the truth of the matter is, we do have the power. The money is out there. The formats and the blueprints are out there for us to follow if we so choose so. But we just need to get out the starving artist mentality that I've seen in music industry. See, I could speak about this all day, and no one can challenge me on it because I saw it in the music
Yo.
industry in the '90s. I saw it in the film industry when I got into that. I see it in the book publishing industry as well. You see, so the industry is different, but the industry is different, but the people are the same. You know,
Is it's a dirty it's a dirty game out there, man. Music music is wild. Music is wild.
and people getting pimped out there. People still getting pimped out there.
To this day. It's I want to have you back on. I'm not cutting this short.
No, we can. Honestly, look, I'm hungry. I got it. I'm here in Vegas,
Baby,
and
you should have said that from jump. I could have cut this off at least 10 minutes ago.
it's okay. I didn't want to give people too much anyway, but I did want. I wanted to say a couple things there before we let go. But yeah, I'm okay. We can cut because look, you can see I like to talk. You see, so and I have a lot to say. So, what else do we need to cover before we end this one?
Just again, RSVP to the launch party. You can go to Black Lions Cubs. Lord Jesus on the cross. Black Lions and Cubs. Only on Instagram. You can also sign up. I'm going to have a link provided in the space below this video. You can click on the link directly and get sent right to the RSVP page for the launch party. If you want to follow me, if anybody's new here, you can definitely come to my page, follow me. I will post his link in my bio, in my link tree on Roomful of Blerds on Instagram. Lord, and I forgot to put this up. My bad. When it launches, you can go to blackeducationstation.com. And I believe you sign up, you log in, sign up, and you can.
It's just like Netflix.
Everything at once, or are you?
Say that again.
Are you launching everything at once, or are you doing it like episode by episode?
I'm making everything. I'm launching everything all at once. So the album, the video game, the cartoon, and the comic will all be available on the 17th.
Okay. Every single episode for like all of the series is that?
No, not for all the series. Just for series 1.
Okay.
Just for series 1 will be.
Okay, and it's only 3 episodes.
3 episodes for series 1. Yes.
Okay. Not to say only, but y'all know how long these anime series can go on for a season. Sometimes it's 5 episodes, other times it's 25. So to say that it's 3 is digestible. You do not take that in any kind of negative way. I don't even know where else. I need to have you back on because I want to talk to you about and talk. I don't. It not to.
About what?
I want to just talk to you.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We need. I got to get you on before July 17th though because you're gonna be busy. You're gonna be busy. Ooh, it's not gonna happen. We're gonna work it out. We'll work it out behind the scenes.
We'll make a way.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for watching, for listening. I want to give a shout out to all of the places that I am currently going to be streaming. That is Opulence Radio. That is on YouTube. That is on Twitch. I'm going to have those listed below as well. I also have to give a shout out to my affiliate, Otaku Noir. I just got my affiliation with them. It's so cool. They are the #1 Black nerd mystery box out here in the streets. Hotep, you might want to talk to these people. You're gonna want to talk to these people. No. You're gonna want to talk to these people. Absolutely, 1,000%. Oh gosh. Go like, subscribe, share on my YouTube channel. Go like, find, and subscribe to a mystery box. Please, by all means, follow Mr. Go to Blerds View. You can catch me there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A girl be working. You can also, if you feel ever so inclined, to all of my new Blerds out there, listen to my podcast, which is about the history of Mandalore, called Child of Mandalore, which is on all available podcast stations, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, all them places there. I do voices too. It's really fun. I'm actually getting into more of my voice work now. I'm going to start sharing some of my stuff maybe on this page. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit scared. But other than that, Hotep, I can't wait. Can't wait for this panel on the 17th. I can't wait to see more of your work. I cannot wait to read this comic. I cannot wait to see this anime and play these games and listen to an album, sir. Genius Art, go follow him. He's on YouTube too. Go listen to his stuff. If you, I'm trying to get you a job, bro. If you need some,
you don't need it. Let me tell you something. He don't need it. I told. Anyway, look, I'm gonna let it go.
And
Chris
co-signs.
Okay, yes. I got you.
All right.
We'll make it happen.
All right, everybody. With that, I bid you all adieu. Hotep, stay in touch. And I wish you luck. I can't wait to see you July 17th. This is when Black Lions and Cubs releases. I'll talk to you guys then. Have a good night. Love you.
Peace.